Ladies and gentlemen, boys and wait a minute, Mike. I think we need to do this a little bit right here. Hold on, let me do this right. We ain't did this in a while. There you go.
Uh,
Can you hear me? Yep. What's going on, people? What's going on, people, man? This your boy Sis Man K Styles on the track, on the ones and the twos and the threes and the fours. And as you already know, the right hand man of this show, it is Mad Mike Sports in the building.
yeah, right. Hey.
Man, we gonna sit here. We just saying, man, we just loving life and doing what we do. Appreciate everybody coming through, but we're gonna wait a few minutes so we get a few more to come in here.
Oh,
But
yeah.
before we do that, let's go ahead and give a shout out to the people. And today's shout out, we gonna kick it off with King Trey White, MVM 1978. Brian Peoples, Logan Reeves, D. Coleman, Sonya,
Oh, yeah.
Southside 12. We got Bernard Cantrell. Appreciate you coming in, man. So as you see, that is the question of today's show, is what is your thoughts on the Falcons season so far? And it's going to coincide with what tonight's topic is going to be. As Brian People said, he's going to find some trees for the beat. Hey, man, that's what we do around here. Smoke weed every day. Not really, but that's the vibes we're going to give y'all. So, as we get the introduction out the way, DJ, let's go ahead and cut the beat. There you go. Man, Mike, what's going on, man?
Hey, man. Can't complain. All good, baby.
Hey, shoot. How's everybody else been doing? I see some red and black here in the chat already. That lets me know that y'all still in the game. Ain't nobody panicking. But we do have a couple conversations that we do need to have here concerning our Atlanta Falcons. But before we do that, Mike, do you have any sidebars you want to get out your system before we get to the main conversation?
Ooh, sidebars. That is interesting. Sidebars. Outside of the Falcons, I think probably we got a lot of talk about quarterbacks. It's always the quarterbacks and quarterbacks coming in and in the NFL, and they are quote unquote, they're not living up to said expectations. They're not living up to said expectations, and there's a lot of talk about them needing to go back to the drawing board. Go like me. I'm saying all that to say this. Not I told you so, but What? What did I tell y'all? Mm-hmm. What did I tell y'all?
So, go ahead. All right, go ahead. Go ahead. You
What
can
what
do
did
some
I
more
tell
bragging.
you? It's been so many. Look, we got so many players and coaches and former players are coming out saying that these quarterbacks need to go back to they need to go back to the basics. They're not learning the basics on how to run a team, and that's the bit is basically everybody needs to learn how to be a real leader. It's anybody can say that they are a leader. Everybody can say that they are in charge, but you got to exhibit said qualities to being able to communicate with people properly. You got to be able to step in and put out certain fires. You got to learn how to kick and lead by example. You got to be able to be that. You got to be able to learn how to take those mistakes that you make and say, you know what? I I messed up right here. I messed up right here. And how we gonna fix this so we don't go down that road again? That right there is what leaders is, and we got so many young quarterbacks right now. The young kid in Indianapolis, Anthony Richardson, they say he ready to get his spot back because I guess he got a little a reality check and he's back. So look, what did I tell y'all?
Uh, I mean, at the end of the day, and definitely shout out to Kirk Dog. No C, just a K Blackberry in the building. Pre- so pretty much what Mike is saying is, and this is the main thing, main staple conversation we've been having over here for years, is the lack of quarterback development. And unfortunately, because of how popular the position is and how mainstream that position is as well, is they're looking for guys to kind of catapult themselves right off the bat, right off the gate. And unfortunately, that's what makes that position one of the most high risk, high reward type of positions to draft, especially if you're looking for that next guy to be your quote unquote face of the franchise. So now certain GMs and teams are, like you said, going back in the drawing board and like, well, maybe we need to start bringing in some guys to help develop these guys.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe we need to start looking at these guys as projects coming in anyway. And like you said, it's one person to blame for all this, and that's these NFL draft experts, Mel Kiper podcast. But every quarterback is not going to come in the league guns a blazing, and and we just have to deal with the reality of it. And I know a lot of fans ain't gonna like me saying that, but that's the nature of the game. So, sorry, but not sorry.
Mm-mm.
So, Mike, if you want to go ahead and sing the song for him, go ahead sing it for him.
I
Well,
told you so. I told you so. Hmm.
well.
Just right there. I told you so.
We got Maggie in the building. We got Tony Hall. What's going on? Appreciate y'all coming in and joining in on this little conversation we're going to have here today. So, get the festivities out the way. Like you said, if you're new to the channel, as you see the scrolling ticker at the bottom, make sure you go ahead and subscribe to System K Live, as well as we got the X profiles, the IG, and the Cash App. Just 6MK, 6MK Styles 1, and $ 6 Man K Styles. So
Mm-hmm.
let's go ahead and get right into this. So the growing talking point that we've been hearing all week is really has been on the defensive side of the ball. The two gentlemen you see on our screen this evening has been the subject of some very interesting conversations. Is it Jimmy Lake's fault or is it Raheem Morris' fault? Mike, you've been beating this dead horse and been making this explanation all week. Why don't you do it one more time for the fam? What do you what do you,
So
what do you, what do you think about the backlash that both of these guys are getting, and how warranted do you feel it is?
I mean, it depends on how you look at it. For one, where are you looking from, I should say. Because if you're a leader, they hire you to be and to get that defense right. Then I don't know where else you should be looking. I don't know where else we should be looking. It should be that. You should be looking at yourself when your defense isn't playing well, and then everything is at the bottom, and then you give us this bull crap speech about numbers are for losers. I mean, everything you doing is pitiful. I mean, shit. If everything was bad,
Bro, did you just say pitiful? Did you just use pitiful?
I did. I did. I mean, it's pitiful. Everything is pitiful. You
Garbage.
didn't have
That's
one.
that's what
Garbage.
we use.
I mean, it's bad. You would say, yeah, numbers are for losers if everything was damn bad. But the thing is, for me, like I said, man, the thing with this, you should be looking at yourself first and foremost. If you're a leader, if you call yourself a leader, if you call yourself that boss, if you call yourself the head honcho, you shouldn't be looking at nobody but yourself. Especially if you are a head coach. Period. Point blank. You shouldn't even be looking at your defensive coordinator. You should be saying, "All right, how we gonna put this? How we gonna get this back together?" So you looking at it like this. That's what. But if you're a fan and you don't have the the the, the knowledge, if you don't have the knowledge, and you don't know how things actually operate, and you assume, then everybody be looking at the defensive coordinator. Well, he's the head of the defense. Well, if you know anything about the proper protocol in football, the proper protocol is that the defensive coordinator, no matter what, he reports to the head coach, and the head coach is the one that sets all the rules, especially if he is a defensive guy. If the head coach is a defensive guy, then that defensive guy and that defensive coordinator reports to the head coach. Now, if he's an offensive guy, oftentimes you will see a lot of defensive coordinators, they don't report to anybody. They pretty much set the rules. For example, just like the Chiefs. Steve Spagnuolo, he runs that defense. Andy Reid is an offensive guy. So Andy Reid, for the most part, like he just lets him do his thing. So we know for a fact that Steve Spagnuolo that's his defense. He sets everything up, but in this instance, this is not like this.
Mm-hmm.
So at the end of the day, what it is, this is all Raheem's fault because he's the defensive guy and he's allowing, if that was the case, someone to ruin his defense.
Mm. Southside, you ain't worth a damn on this. You talking about it's Raheem Lake's fault.
Raheem Lakes. Interesting.
Talking about Taheem and Jimmy Puddles. Good Lord. Y'all already starting this off. Well, yeah, as as per se, I actually did have some numbers here for those that want to be reminded again. Even though y'all don't want to be reminded, I'm gonna do it again. Atlanta Falcons defense in total, 25th in points given up per game, 25th in yards given up per game, 30th in third down conversion, and of course dead last in sacks, as y'all already know that stat. That's kind of a big drop off from where they were last year. So this is where a lot of the Falcon faithful are having these outbursts as to why pretty much got the same damn near the same defensive personnel from last year, but the defense looks much worse. Michael, what's going on, man? Appreciate you joining us, man. Hey, you talking about smooth arm? Yeah, hey, that's how I always talk.
You just not noticing this? Like, good God Almighty.
Hey, hey, I was doing voiceover. I was doing voiceovers for the Mac remake, the Big Mac edition. But um, but it's warranted because of the expectations. As Raheem Morris already knew coming into this situation, that this situation, the Falcons were already a team that was looking to win now. And even though we are first place in the South, the NFC South, the inconsistencies, and I'm not going to even say just the inconsistencies on defense, but all three phases of the game has put a lot of doubt in the Falcon fans' mindset is can this team finish finish the job and get to the playoffs? And Michael here said we just got too much talent on defense to be this bad.
I mean, do we?
I mean, is it that we got too much talent or do we got too many known commodities?
Hmm. I mean, you can have too much talent, but what are those talents really good at? It may not be the areas that we are good at in regards to the scheme.
Yeah,
You see what I'm
it's
saying? So the scheme may
right,
not fit what they're talented at.
right.
And that's
So
those things that you
it,
got to
it,
take care of.
it coattails with Southside's comment here where he says if Mio doesn't scheme do a good job of limiting mid plays, but because of our lack of pass rush or defensive players are not able to make plays consistently. And this is kind of where my sentiment has been so far this whole season. Actually, a lot of people have kind of noticed that. And like I said, unfortunately, when you're focused on not giving up the big play, you gotta give something up. When you're more worried about not trying to get beat for 40, 50 yards on one play, on the chunk play, so you may give up some little garbage yardage. But regardless of all that, this team defensively is the players are playing at a different. They have different skill sets that may not be suitable for this mentality of defense. My bad. I had about four statements coming to my head at the same time. I was sitting here trying to. I'm sitting here trying to put it together. I'm sitting here
So you
tripping.
just had one
I
moment.
got like three or four thoughts going in my head at the same time.
You just had one of my moments. That's all.
I did exactly. Um, this is an interesting comment right here. It said, I'm just upset that Rob Penalties learned nothing from 2016. Stubborn coaching lost the game. Quinn fired coaches that shouldn't have been fired. He blamed Richard Smith. What do you think about that, Mike? That's pretty much what you've been saying.
Hmm. Yeah, the blame is gonna go. The blame with that situation went to somebody who had a different philosophy and a way of doing things that didn't coincide with what Quinn wanted. And you saw when those guys left how players kind of tailed off when those guys left.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. But the one good thing they have in their corner right now is they're in a spot where they can still make the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not totally a failure so far because they're literally one game away from tying a season high for wins in the last 5 years. Once you put that into perspective, you can look at things a little bit differently. You can still have your criticisms, but you can still look at things a little bit differently.
Mm-hmm.
Like Georgia Texas boy here said, we got Chargers, we got the Giants, we got the Raiders, we got the Panthers. This team could beat anybody in this league, from the best team to the worst team.
Mm-hmm.
But we just have to put it all together. And this is why I say, even though a lot of people are blaming Jimmy Lake, this is one of the major reasons why Mike's saying it's Raheem's fault. Just for the, let me ask y'all a question. Let me ask y'all a question. And I know I'm going all over the place with this. If this is Jimmy Lake's defense that we're seeing right now, and it has not been working, why do you think Raheem Morris is allowing that to continue if it hasn't been working?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I want to actually see y'all answer. Give me some
Yeah,
answers on that
I
question.
want to.
Cause I want, cause I want to make some mental interpretations as why this is not really talked about as far as the defensive struggles. Who is not making the adjustment? Who is not sitting here and saying, "Hey, this ain't working. We need to do something different." At least D. Coleman was honest. He said, "Shit, hell, we don't damn know."
No, that's a cop out. You know
That's a
exactly.
cop.
That's a cop out. You know exactly why. Come on, D. You smart, brother. You know exactly why. Look, that's why I want everybody to really think about that.
Think about that.
Really think
If
about.
this is Jimmy Lake scheme and defensive play calling is what's making this defense look worse, why hasn't Raheem Morris taken over the reins as a guy organizing that defense?
Because he's the head guy. He's supposed to make sure
Yeah.
everything is working well.
Let me give y'all a perfect example. Do y'all specifically remember that 2017 season? I forgot who was calling the defense. Uh, who was calling the defensive plays at that time?
17. It was.
Was it 17 or 18? I know it was it Jeff Ulbrich that was calling? Who was the coordinator at that time?
He didn't. That was
No,
when he got
who
fired.
was it?
Old Brick was calling it when Dan Quinn got fired. Manuel was calling the plays.
Okay. Because I remember the defense was playing well at the beginning, but then when the news came out that Dan Quinn was taking over defensive play calling duties, hopefully to try to ride the wave, defense got worse.
And that's when he gave it to Manuel.
Right.
He was saying it was the lack of focus or something. He couldn't focus while he couldn't coach while calling plays at the same time.
My bad, y'all.
What the hell are you doing, Kill?
Hey
You
man,
are you
hey,
really
hey,
up
hey,
here running?
hey, give me a break. I just had to get a Kit Kat bar.
I knew he was up here done it.
Yeah, I was dying for a second. But but hold on, is that wrong question? Whose defense is it? Is not the debate, is who is held accountable for the lack of end game adjustment. Whose defense argument is the dead horse. But like I said, this is the conversation that's going around on social media right now. It's the conversation going around on it's who's to blame. It's who's to blame and who's to blame.
Let me ask you a question, Kill.
Go ahead.
You're the man of your house, right?
Right.
So if something goes wrong in your house, whether it's your daughter, your old lady, something goes wrong, the police comes in and say, "All right, this happens."
It's gonna be me because I'm the head honcho of the house.
You see what I'm saying?
The,
So
the,
my thing is, if that's the case in this life, I don't understand why it's not the case when there's a clear hierarchy in sports, in football. There's a clear hierarchy. So he's only the defensive coordinator. Raheem has the ultimate say when it comes down to that team because it's his team. And then his boss, who is the president, the football um, president of operations, has the ultimate over him. So the case is still, why are you allowing it to happen if it's not working?
Exactly. Exactly.
It,
So it's like you said, essentially we're saying the same thing. I just simplified it. We just simplifying it more over
mhm.
here
Yeah,
because the accountability at the end of the day, especially if when Raheem is a defensive minded head coach, even though he kind of does, it depends on what situation he is. He's mainly a defensive guy. But the last time he was here, especially during the time when we were winning, he was on the offensive side.
he's what he does is well, Raheem is why he draws up plays.
So regardless of because
Coordinator. That's what he's always been. He's a passing game coordinator. So he understands DBs and wide receivers and the passing game.
and you know what? That brings up a very interesting point, a very another interesting conversation. Let's go back to Super Bowl 51. Y'all ready to go back to Super Bowl 51 right quick?
Mm-hmm.
G. Coleman said, "We know whose fault it really is.
Right
It's Matt
there.
Ryan's fault." He said, Dave Coleman said, "It's Matt Ryan. At the end of the day, it's all Matt Ryan's fault."
I mean, to be honest, that's essentially what this situation is anyway. If you really
Hmm.
want to look at it,
Yeah,
the defense sucks is Matt Ryan's fault.
yeah. This is pretty much what it's coming down to. It's the Kyle Shanahan, Dan Quinn Super Bowl meltdown. Your offensive coordinator wanted to throw the ball. You as the head coach, as the overseer, you didn't veto none of that shit and play the situation. It cost you the game.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what it pretty much comes down to. Said to not hold what is it? To not hold a play caller coordinator accountable is misguided.
I mean, he didn't improve it. That's not his defense to design. So it's not his. He's calling the plays that he's been told. If you get a strict set of plays to call, how is the defensive coordinator?
To not hold the play caller coordinator accountable is misguided.
We're going right back to him sitting and watching the play caller call back bad plays. We right back at square
That,
one.
that's basically what you're saying. Because if Raheem Morris is constantly letting him call bad plays, that's the head coach not being
Mhm.
accountable for holding his play caller accountable. So,
Right.
so regardless of what you say, Blackberry is leading back to the main thing is
Good
why
question.
is Raheem Morris allowing him to continue to be a jackass?
hmm
I can.
Let's just say that he is absolutely calling horrendous plays, Jimmy Lake.
Mhm.
If you know that he's calling horrendous plays and you know that he's putting poison in somebody's food, why are you sitting there watching it and allowing it? And you are the head guy. You're the police. I say the police in this situation. The police see
Right,
somebody shoot somebody,
right.
but you just turn the blind eye and say, you know what? I'm gonna give him a chance because I think he's a good guy. I'm not gonna arrest him for murder, or I'm not gonna arrest this person for this. Why are you allowing it? So it goes right back to the same question. Why is Raheem allowing it if it is Jimmy Lake's fault? Let's all agree that it is Jimmy Lake's fault. But
Right.
why is the head coach and the owner allowing that to happen? That's the question that we have. I'm not gonna allow somebody to keep fucking up my PlayStation that I paid $500 for. You know what I'm saying? Like if you keep throwing that shit, my controller to the wall, I'm gonna look at you like, "Hey, son, bitch, you better stop throwing my shit."
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So the question is, it's not whether or not Jimmy Lake isn't responsible for the Falcons' lack of execution or
Mm.
the lack of adjustments. The problem is why is the head guys watching this debacle unfold?
But you gotta remember the head guys are likable guys. So holding accountability to that standard is seen as a very bad thing to do.
I mean, we can throw Jerry Gray in there. Why is Jerry Gray ain't saying nothing? Why is if he is saying, you see what I'm saying? So
So
that's the hierarchy. Somebody because he has an advisor under him, and it's Jerry Gray. So
mhm,
Jerry Gray and Raheem at this point, somebody needs to say something. Somebody needs to do something about it, and not allow Jimmy Lake to run road with the defense because
right,
then everything is bottom of the league.
right. But at the end of the day, we already know, and I'm gonna leave it at this. If Jimmy Lake is fucking up, Raheem Morris gonna have to do something about it.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, people can fight it all they want. At the end of the day, it's the head coaches. The head coach has the final say on what the fuck goes on that field. I'll use an example. That's like me watching my daughter burn down the house, go to another house, burn down the house, go to another house, burn down the house. Now what's gonna end up happening is they're gonna look at me as being neglectful
Mm-hmm.
of holding the ship together.
Exactly.
So as we already know, defensively, they're gonna have to switch some shit up
Mm-hmm.
one way or another. Are they gonna have to be more aggressive? Yes. Or they're gonna have to take some chances defensively? Yes. But the other thing too is outside of the defense, there's been inconsistencies on all three phases of the game. So my final word on this topic at hand is the Falcons are in a position right now where they can't take none of these games for granted. Because if they do, a slide is inevitable. And Lord have mercy when if you have a whole team meltdown in a season where the fans and all of us expected this team to be playoff bound or make some serious noise. Oh, you thought you heard the cries of them being on a 2 game loser streak. Boy, them cries gonna be deafening. But
Mm-hmm.
hey,
Ain't
so
nobody gonna be looking at saying Jimmy Gray, you need to go. Everybody gonna be looking at Raheem, why the fuck you ain't fired him yet? The voices is gonna get even louder.
hmm because because we just keep it real honest with you. We're not really having this conversation if we're not getting sacks. That's pretty much what all the bottom line is. Falcons ain't getting no damn sacks, and it's looking and like I said, it looks pathetic for the standards that a lot of us fans have for what this defense possibly can actually do. So if the Falcons getting pressure, getting sacks, getting turnovers, and they got the same and they ended up with the same record they got now, this wouldn't even be a conversation right now. It's just about as real as I can put it. But I also have a second topic question that I want to share with everybody. And I want to thank Mike for this because Mike actually gave me the idea of this on the last night on the Heavy Hitter show. Um, and also shout out to Smitty Sports because they kind of had this conversation about possible players and stuff, positions and needs next year. Um, I know everybody's looking for a pass rusher, and I think pass rusher would be the number one thing for the Falcons to go in 2025. But I got a different mindset on it. I think middle linebacker should be the priority in 2025. What's your take on that, man?
Yeah, I believe so. The thing, I think, when you look at this scheme in itself, one of the issues that I've seen and I've noticed is that the coverage aspect of things, particularly in the middle of the field, is what's the issue. And we can sit up here and talk about plays and how many plays, but should and shouldn't be called, and who should be fired and who shouldn't. But if you don't have said players to call to even run that scheme, it doesn't matter how much you and what plays you call. If you don't have players to execute those plays, it doesn't matter.
Mm,
None of that matter. You got to have if you're running a cover two, you got to have fast linebackers. If you're gonna run a zone and off coverage as much as the Atlanta Falcons are doing or running, like you got to have guys that with speed and athleticism. So I don't even think the plays are the issues with the Atlanta Falcons, to be honest. Um, and the proof is in the pudding. When you got two guys that's been out for the last 3 games or so.
3, 4 games.
Man. Huh?
Yeah, about 3 or 4 games. Yeah.
So you got JD Bertrand that's been out, and you
Hmm.
got Trey Anderson that's been out. So you had Caden Ellis that's been in the middle, and Nate Landman that's been in the middle also. Both of those guys been in the middle of the field, and they've been getting torched for touchdowns and a lot of yards. So with this scheme, I don't even think it's the play. I don't think it's the play calls. I just don't think they have the personnel right now, the athletics. Because if you look at what Caden Ellis runs, he runs a 4.7, bro. He should not be in. He should not be nowhere near Alvin Kamara. Okay, he shouldn't be nowhere near Alvin Kamara in the open field. Thank
Now let
God
me
he caught that pass. So
let me put a disclaimer. I didn't like I said. I'm not saying linebacker is the number one priority, but I think it
yeah,
should be
they
be
say that.
a major priority.
Whether
And
it's
then
in
on the
free agency or the draft.
right. All right, go ahead. You can keep on going, Mike.
So, I don't think the plays. I just don't think the Falcons have the necessary. Because if you look at how we're getting beat, it's guys are it's a lot of yak yards.
Mm.
When you're saying a lot, oftentimes that the culprit when giving up a lot of touchdowns, it's either Nate Landman or Caden Ellis getting burnt almost every time. So I don't think it's a play issue. I mean, we can go and look at the film and tell you the exact same thing. Outside of, I mean, that's one, probably that's one of the reasons why the Atlanta Falcons are playing the coverage that they're playing is because one, the linebackers don't have the athleticism to be able to stick. So he's doing the right thing as far as the linebackers concerned because you want to give them a little bit because they play downhill. Those are downhill linebackers, so they don't do a good job of catching up. So the best thing to do, honestly, and I hate it, but is to have those guys playing off.
Mm, interesting.
You you can't look. You can't teach speed. You can't. No matter what, no scheme, man, zone, playing 15 yards off. If somebody's running the 4.5 or 4.2, those guys are just fast. There's you heard John Madden say this. That you can't teach speed. You can't teach speed. No matter what you do, you can't teach athleticism. You can't pray to God that, hey, God, please make me run a 3.5. I want to be able to run. I want to be the fastest human in the world. You can't teach that. You can't pray for speed.
Yeah. It is not, and the thing is, it's not really necessarily just speed as well. Is you got to have instincts in coverage situations, in passing situations. Like you said, the key thing is our linebackers are downhill guys. They want to attack the line of scrimmage. That's where they're most comfortable at. Caden Ellis is a pass rusher playing middle linebacker right now. I mean that's where he's at, and the future of Troy Anderson is still uncertain because now the question with him is he even durable enough to last the whole season? So
Mm-hmm.
are you going to be looking to replace him? Is Nate Landman going to be worth you re-signing him because he'll be a free agent after this season?
I mean, you can't teach people that covering is still instincts and athleticism. No matter how
Okay.
you try to, no matter how much you try to say this and say that, covering is still, it takes athleticism and instincts. And that's what Kev mean when he's talking about some guys just don't have the instincts to cover. You can teach them to get a little bit better, but
Hmm.
ultimately, like, you're gonna be LeBrick or you're gonna be Steph. You can't teach people to be great 3-point shooters.
Okay.
Some people are just born with certain talents. Like a guy like, Michael Vick, you can't teach the athleticism that he had.
The arm strength.
You can't teach
The,
the arm strength. You can't teach that. Some people have it and some guys don't. Some are a little bit better. Some get a little bit
hmm
better with your coaching, but you are what you are for the most part.
hmm
And yes, I gave LeBron some credit, y'all. So get off my back.
Shut up, Mike. Shut up, Mike. You ain't right about that. Um, yeah. So on this part of the conversation, yeah, like you said, unfortunately, right now is we're going to have to deal with what we have. Like I said, if you got guys like that can't cover worth shit, you got to use these guys in the situations that they're most suitable. If you got to blitz these guys, fuck it. You got two of the best, like I said, you gotta allow two of the best safeties in the game to actually be in the game. They're most effective when you got quarterbacks having to forcing quarterbacks to make a decision. instead of sitting back and making a decision. I need to say that one more time, Mike.
Oh yeah, please.
You would you would rather have a quarter. You would rather force a quarterback to make a decision than to allow a quarterback to make a decision.
Man, force a quarterback. You basically thinking for a quarterback or have him think by himself. Oh, my bad, y'all. I'm thinking K Style. No. I'm thinking K Style was still something happened. Technically he went out. Um speed, skills can't be coached. It's the equalizer in football, especially on the defense, on the Tampa Bay defense, 96, 2000 was light, fast, physical, and most important, smart. And those that, like I said, these are the things, and you can't teach. You can improve them, but you can't teach the athleticism. There's nothing unless you out here taking steroids like you Hulk Hogan or the Incredible Hulk or some shit. Like you can't teach how to get a full second faster. Those are the things you can't teach. So, like I said, I understand, everybody's point of view and thought process of this person and that person need to be blamed, but it's like plays are part of the game plan. The offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator, assistant head coach. The assistant head coach is there to help. The assistant head coach is there to help the head coach with the game plan and what's going on. So, like I said, we can point the blame on Jimmy Lake, but we need to be looking at a lot of these players on top of it. What's going on with you? Like why, like Judon, why aren't you doing your thing? Like what's going on with Matthew Judon? What's going on with Grady? Like we gotta hold those guys accountable as well. We can't keep looking at one particular person and saying, all right, it's all Raheem's fault, it's all Jimmy Lake's fault.
Uh,
Everybody is at the blame when you talk about execution coaching. When everything is at the bottom of the league and you have talent, everybody needs to be coming together and say, all right, how can we fix this?
Man, well, look, how the hell I get kicked out my own goddamn show?
I don't know. Shit. I was
I,
trying to figure
I guess StreamYard was telling me to shut the fuck up, but you trying to sound too smart.
Oh damn.
But keep going, Mike.
But like I said, those just certain skills you just can't teach, man. Some people are just born with certain skills, and that's just it. And unfortunately, right now, the weakest part of our defense, unfortunately, in my opinion, on top of the injuries that we had, because nobody's really talking too much about the injuries. We
Mm-hmm.
got a lot of defensive linemen, and a lot of them are injured. So I'm not going to point the finger at just one particular aspect of this defense. It's a lot of things that goes on, and this is why I have the philosophy of saying I'm not predicting shit. I ain't predicting shit because half the time people end up getting injured. Things happen to, of course, somebody gets suspended, whatever the case may be. Things don't go as planned, and we end up looking foolish because you thought this defense would be this way, and that person we missed a Grady for an entire year for a torn ACL. Like you just can't predict. We didn't predict that Troy Anderson for the second year in a row damn near missed 5 games out of the season already.
Mm-hmm. Like I said, you just need that. Like you said, they need that alpha dog. They just need that alpha on that defense. Just like, man, fuck that. Give me that shit. Like I said,
I don't see that on the defense. That's always been the thing with Grady Jarrett. Yeah, he is incredibly talented, but as far as his mentality and showing that he can, like, look, this is my motherfucking team, and we ain't gonna take this shit no more. Like, I don't see that of Grady a lot. I see his passion in the press conference, but like on the field, when somebody do you like they do Aaron Donald and piss you off, yeah, Aaron Donald go to a whole nother goddamn level.
mm-hmm.
I need that on my defense. I need that on my offense. When somebody piss you off and somebody call you, get in your face, cheap shot you, I need you to take your game to the next level.
Mm-hmm. And that's really, and that's what it really comes down to. And like I say, it's a lot of different things that's
a lot,
going
Chris.
wrong.
That's why I say it's too many variables in this situation to point finger at one guy. That's why I say I'm not firing Raheem at all.
Yeah. Let me rephrase that, Jerome. We don't have no alphas in the front 7. That's the better way to put it.
Yeah.
It's just like Blackberry, just like everybody else say. When you had Calais Campbell. Calais Campbell was the predominant alpha dog on the front line.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You need look. I'm 6'2", 6'3", 190, almost 200 pounds. Okay, barely that. Barely 190. Okay, barely 190.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, to some people out there be afraid, but when they see a big motherfucker like Chauncey, who's about 6'3", 6'4" himself, but he 350 pounds, who you think they're gonna be afraid of? Let's keep that real. Just
right.
Just off rip. Like Chauncey, if you don't piss him off, he's the biggest fucking teddy bear. If you don't piss him off. The nicest person in the universe. But soon you piss him off, he just turned into an evil demon. But that's a whole nother story. But like I said, just off rip. Just off sight. Ain't nobody gonna try him right off like that just because his size. Ant, another big motherfucker. Ant is huge. We the same height, but he 300. You know what I'm saying? Like, ain't the that this is right. These are the things that we talking about. Size, alpha mentality. That shit matters. We need somebody that's gonna talk that smack.
Mm-hmm.
When shit get hot, we need somebody to say, "Hey, fuck you, motherfucker. It's my motherfucking team." You know what I'm saying? No, I'm gonna block the hell out of you. I'm a dirty mother. I don't fight fair. I do not fight fair. I poke your grandmama in the eye. All right. So look, all that matters. The alpha matters. The size matter. Anybody that says size don't matter and alpha dogs don't matter, they've never played any type of sports and they ain't never been in a fight. That shit matters.
And a lot of times it's not even you have to be that guy that has to pronounce himself as that guy. Like I said, your player's gonna speak for itself.
Speak for itself. Yep.
And the thing is, as long as it speaks for itself, it's gonna resonate with the rest of the guys to play harder.
Calais don't even talk like that, but when he on that field, he got that alpha. He like that boy. He's a dog.
Right.
He be motherfuckers around.
Yeah, blindside blocks, chop blocks. But shit, you should do whatever you got to. Say Christian from Friday Night Lights. Yeah,
Right there.
yeah, yeah. So,
Like that's it. That matters, man.
so, we pretty much gonna end this up by saying this. I know a lot of people ain't gonna like what I'm about to say about this, but what we essentially did these first 11 games was we was pretty Ricky Fontaine. We knew we can get the girls,
Mm-hmm.
so we didn't. So we played up to our persona.
Yep. We pretty Ricky.
We played pretty Ricky ball. Now we need to go into some bone crusher ball. Gripping the grain.
Great.
That's one of my favorite songs right there. You know what? I need to put that back on my game day playlist. Like gripping the grain from the front to the back. Yeah, Michael, pretty Ricky, what they call him. Yep, there you go. They call me oozing out your cerebellum. There they go. Hey, shit, hey, keep it going, shit. That's the football we have to play these next 5-6 games. We need to go out there and be dirty.
Mm-hmm.
Offensively, defensively. Offensively, you see spurts of that. So offensively, we're doing fine outside of turnovers and costly penalties. They need to calm that shit down.
Boy.
But in order for this team to get to where it needs to go, this defense is going to have to generate some pressure and just like Chauncey said, get the quarterback on the damn ground. Even if you don't get the sack, not that motherfucker on the ground. Make him feel your presence. So what a lot of people don't know about those hits on quarterbacks, even after they throw the football, that puts that ringer in their damn head like, okay, these motherfuckers is coming. I got to hurry up and get this ball out quicker. And if you force a quarterback to throw the ball quicker than when he wants to, bad things happen on offense, but great things happen on defense.
Hope for the best, but I don't think he gonna make it. Not the way he was shivering and shaking on the pavement.
Yes, sir. But we're gonna go ahead and wind it down. Mike, I'll let you go ahead and get your final thoughts. What'd you think about this episode? And what others said? What'd you think about this conversation we had tonight on this?
Leaders be leaders and take charge and do what's best for the team. That's what real head coaches and leaders do. They do what's best for the team. Period, point blank.
Mm-hmm.
Players don't blame. They go out and they play their hardest and they give their all for the team. But everything should be focused on the team and not self. And that right there is nothing but the truth. The Mad Mike truth.
I like that. And my thoughts on this conversation is, hey man, you got to get the job done. You got to make it happen. However, which way you got to do it, you got to make it happen. When he said ride down the street knocking pictures off the wall, we need to be knocking quarterbacks on their ass.
Yep.
So, appreciate y'all coming in with the convo. Got some more stuff coming up for you later today.
Mm-hmm.
For all the wrestling fans. Speaking of OG Chauncey, the OG Truth.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna be breaking down some wrestling content later on in the evening as well.
Oh yeah.
So y'all make sure y'all stay tuned for that for the wrestling fans. Make sure y'all go ahead and continue to support System K Live as well as Atlanta Falcon Nation, as well as Mad Mike Sports, OG Truth, Mr. Wide Sports Network, Heavy Hitters Live, Jew Talk Sports, the whole family. Hey man, I tell you one thing. You mess with one, you mess with all. Just like them Samoans, you don't mess with family, you don't get hurt. That, my friends, is how I'm going to end it. So until next time, people, we ain't here to play.
Oh no.
We here to stay.
Yeah, nigga.
You ain't got to go home.
But you got to get the hell out of here.
I'm probably gonna go ahead and get back to watching Time Traveler from 2005. That mother got me tripping right now.
That man said Time Traveler. Good God.
Yeah. That dude is funny. And the one thing about him that I didn't realize was he's actually got big off of that shit just the last couple years. But I actually have been following him a long time ago when they used to do like the public spoof wrestling things at Walmart. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh my God.
That man said, I got them bootleg DVDs. All right, y'all. Oh, we out, man.